Alright, so today we're going to be doing a sort of lore dissection of the Tale of Balsakaen by Boromir. Just sort of going through each individual line or paragraph and seeing what it might relate to. So, firstly, long ago, stars twinkled and told a tale yet to come. Given that the word Kolmui, which is frequently used to refer to the people that we assume are of the town, literally translates to community among the stars or community beyond the stars or something like that, I would say it's basically guaranteed that this is some form of reference to that. This just sort of is what the tale is about. Mountain dwellers, that's referring to people in the town, because mountains and all that. More just stuff based off of the descriptions we've got of the Kolmui. I would say that this is referring to basically everyone, possibly other than the Kolmui, but really everyone, when the big bad happened, trying to fight against it, but they didn't have quite enough power to do so. And, you know, maybe it means that, like, the Kolmui were the only ones who could fight it, or rather, were the only ones who had the power to fight it. That's something that will come up a bit later. Long ago, for a time, ill fate was thought dispelled. This is probably referring to either the period between when the big bad happened and now, well, now in-game at least, or this is referring simply to the period of time from before the big bad happened to if it happened more than once when it happened the previous time. Those are the two things it could refer to. Faith in their warriors, people held stronger, just general stuff. Fight to survive placated, again, fits with that. Not entirely sure what that means. Long ago, evermore, power had called them here. I mean, that's probably referring to how the Kolmui got here, because that's always sort of been a bit of a uncertainty in the lore so far. But, I mean, it could refer to a lot of things. It could mean that they knew there was power here, so they showed up. It could mean that a power had called them here. It could refer to a lot of things, and its echo would reach many more. I can only assume that's talking about the players, given that we're obviously after them. Of time-spanned lands they will be, probably referring to the fact that important things happen in this place more than once, bolstered by unique strengths. Maybe relating to power. Yet here they would pool, seeking the enchanting call, same stuff. Yet long ago then, the critic would commit a sin. This is basically where the start of the story is, because this up here is sort of just laying the groundwork of what's going on in this period of time, who groups are, all that stuff. But the critic, I can only assume, is Balsakaen, and committing the sin is basically what we're going to see down here, or actually right here. He builds and gives to land, only to steal and take from life. A great prison fit for the indomitable spirit of his people, yet here it would stand for many generations to come. While this is obviously referring to the tower, I think there's more depth to it. I think that he didn't just steal and take, well, from life, the power of his people and put it in the tower. Because if climbing was their only power, it wouldn't really make sense with the rest of this. I think this is referring to most, if not all, of the ruined stone structures we see, including the skill shrines. I think this is sort of an explanation of those as well, given that they are of the same stone as the tower, and give us power when we use them, but are, you know, not directly linked, except maybe this. Not so long ago, after those who rose and collapsed before calamity, could be referring to the Kolmui. I think it probably is, which puts the construction of the tower and the shrines, probably right about at the end of the time of the Kolmui, given that it's mentioning that it's after their collapse. Although it could have played a part in that collapse. It stood defiance of time. I mean, the shrines and tower still exist. Not too big of a surprise there. Are people with the mind to make their strength the power of many, yet now it will wake at the ring of the worthy. So, the first line here, I think, is basically saying the people, the Kolmui, or whoever people Balsakaen is part of, is they desire to make, well, their strength, that being climbing and magic skills and all that stuff, the power of many, basically anyone who can use the shrines. Yet now it will wake at the ring of the worthy. In the case of the tower, that's very much directly referring to you have to be good enough at climbing to get to, well, in the old tower, the end, but in the new tower, just the first layer. Or at least from what we've been told. But in the case of the shrines, I think that it's more directly referring to the fact that you have to be using whatever the shrine is for, be it archery, melee, whatever, enough that you are worthy of the power it gives you. Such was a tale once told on a starry night, a stubborn stand against prophecy, a tragic battle without end. That stuff, I mean, that's just a summary of the tale. A gambit against a greater foe, a hope cast across time. This is an important one. Gambit against a greater foe, I can only assume. There's nothing else I could think it would be other than the big bad. There's really no other event or enemy we know of that could even come close, given that it was said, or given that it's sort of been said and implied in the lore that the Kolmui were sort of the strongest of the civilizations at that time. And then, a hope cast across time, that really sounds like it's saying the hope cast across time is the power being left there for the next people, that being the players, to claim it. You know, they're casting their hope to the future so that the players can claim the power that only they had to destroy whatever the big bad is. And then, such was the tale of the great traitor-thief, Balsakaen. This traitor-thief part makes it very clear to me, at least, that basically this was not the Kolmui or Balsakaen's people deciding to leave their power. This was Balsakaen making a direct decision to steal the power of his people and seal it in these structures because he knew that they couldn't win. He betrayed his entire people and possibly led them to their own destruction, depending on, you know, how you want to look at it, because he knew that if he didn't do that, the evil would never be destroyed. And I think that's sort of the important part. But that's about it for the lore here. There's probably some stuff in this artwork, but as it stands, I haven't figured any of it out. Other than that, though, I think that's about it for this video. See you around.